Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all really well. My name's Richard, and this is the Hyundai Kona, High-End Pie, the Highland Eye, the Hyundai Kona. Remember, we've got to say it right. Hyundai, spending a lot of money making sure we say the name right. But this is the Kona, 64 kilowatt hours. It's been around a little while now, but you know what? I've never really had a proper drive in one of these, but that's going to change today. And we're going to use this in part of our daily duties, which is to go from here to Cheltenham and back again. It's about 250 miles. So we're going to get a chance to do a real world range test in some pretty cold conditions. It's been very cold this week. It was cold last night. It's about 3 degrees this morning, warming up, the sun's coming up. And so we're going to see exactly what this does for real world range and get to know the car a little bit better so that I can then follow it up with a bit of review and my thoughts. It's pretty good value long range EV, and it is efficient. We've shown that before. But is it as efficient as a Tesla Model 3 long range? This is a refresh 21 plate. And so we know this is a really efficient EV. It usually beats most things out there. Now, it's not really a direct comparison, but we just happen to be going to Cheltenham today to drop this car off. And so it's a chance to run them side by side. And let's just see how they compare for a bit of interest and see, is this going to be more or less efficient than the renowned Model 3 long range? Fairly lightweight, compact, efficient, we know that. Front wheel drive, 64 kilowatt hours of usable battery capacity. And a car like this on a late 69, early 20 car with 13,000 miles, this one's got in it, is worth kind of best part of £30,000, upper 20s, something like that. The Tesla Model 3 we've got here that we're dropping off, this is a 2021 car with about 25,000 miles, so it's newer but higher mileage. It's 4-wheel drive, it's quite a bit quicker, dual motor, about a 75 kilowatt hour gross battery, which gives you about 70 kilowatt hours of usable, roughly speaking. So slightly larger battery, known for its efficiency. This is a good, efficient car, but with this body style, will it be less efficient on the motorway compared to a Tesla? Tesla seem to beat just about everything else for efficiency, but today's a really good opportunity for us to find out and try these cars side by side in the same conditions at the same speed on the same roads. So the best way to get a true comparison. This car here is worth about £40,000 now. The prices have been dropping on the Model 3s a little bit recently because there's some price cuts with Tesla. So I think these are just great value on the used market at the moment and can be bought for, in fact, under £40,000. All right, Gins, get your mileage battery percentage. I've got 95% battery and 251 miles of range in just normal mode.
I've got 95% and 313 miles of range in any mode. Yep.
I've got an eco driving mode, an eco plus, but that's going to limit me to 60 miles an hour. So I'm going to use eco mode, but I'm going to keep the heating on. I'm in a t-shirt, so real world, it's 3 degrees Celsius outside, so it is still cold. Definitely running the heating. We're there, we're off, let's go. Okay, we're getting away. 9:30 exactly now. Right, so I've done 15.7 miles just to come here today, 3.4 miles per kilowatt, but let me reset a trip from now. There we go. Right, let's see what we can do. I guess it'd be quite good to see how the real range compares to what the car tells you. I know the Tesla usually is a bit optimistic on its range. You can get it if you're really careful, but it's a static calculation. I don't know if the Hyundai is a bit more dynamic and is a bit more real world, but again, a chance to find that out. So it will be interesting to see exactly what we get. And then what I think of this Hyundai Kona. So according to the nav, we've got a 120 mile journey, just under 120 miles. Real kind of mixture of roads really. Obviously it will be largely motorways, dual carriageways at 70 miles per hour, hopefully if the traffic's okay. But we've got some country roads now. And we're going to be delivering in town, so there's a mixture of motorways, dual carriageways, country roads, a bit of everything. The roads are still quite wet and damp and filthy dirty at the moment. Every car is just getting absolutely covered with road salt and grime. We just joined the motorway, so after nearly 20 miles of kind of A roads, 50 miles an hour, quite efficient, coming through the New Forest. Just as I joined the motorway, my average was 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour. Gints in the Tesla, 241 watt hours per mile, so actually really very similar. So on that kind of 50 miles an hour country roads, very similar. Let's see how that changes now on the motorway, because I think the Hyundai is probably going to be a bit less aerodynamic than the Tesla, but it's pretty efficient. We'll see, you never know. It's done well in previous tests, but I suspect the Tesla will gain on the motorway efficiency. But we'll see. Okay, so I'm on cruise control on the Hyundai, and I've got radar cruise, so it keeps a safe distance to the car in front. I've got lane assist, so it keeps me in the lane. If I indicate, it lets me change the lanes, and then it sets it all, carries on, keeping it in between the white lines on the next lane. Now, the Tesla, unless you've bought enhanced autopilot or FSD, it actually wouldn't do that. If you indicate to change lanes, it will actually cancel the self-steering, the lane keeping. So you have to re-engage it. The Hyundai, I don't actually have to do that. So, pretty good autopilot on this car. Why have we got so many 50 miles an hour roadworks? Gah! Look, have you seen any people working on this? I've been going for miles along these roadworks. This is on the M3 near Winchester. Miles and miles of roadworks with nobody working on them, just 50 miles an hour because there's some stuff dug up. Right, after 2 hours of driving, just over, we've done 115 miles, very nearly. Now, according to the Kona, I've averaged 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour. Started at 95%, finished here with 46%. So I've used 49% of the battery to do that. Pro rata that all out, 100% to zero in theory would be about 235 miles. Now we're going to carry on driving in this car, so we'll try again, see what we get overall during the course of the day. But let's see what the Tesla's got. Gintz, right, what percentage have you got back here now with?
I've got 53% left.
That's 53% on the Tesla. I'm down to 46%. Smaller battery, I was going to use a bit more. All right, what's your efficiency?
So on average, 245 watt-hours per mile.
245 watt-hours per mile, so that's 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour. That's pretty good, isn't it? 3.6 on the Kona. I have to say, the Kona, I think, up to about 50 miles per hour could equal the Tesla for efficiency. But on the motorway, you can just feel it's not as aerodynamic. You can almost feel it's holding back, you know, pushing through the air. So 3.6 in the end it dropped to.
Good number for Kona anyway. But yeah, and again, Tesla, as always, trumps everyone on a highway.
And that's a four-wheel drive car, very fast as well. So the Kona, you know, that pro rata gives 236 odd miles real world range. We're going to carry on driving this car. So again, we'll see if that changes through the course of the day. Maybe we'll get back in one go. Doubt it. I think we might have to stop on the way back. Okay, anyway, let's drop off that Model 3 and then we'll carry on in the Kona. All right, we're driving back. It's time for Gintz to drive. All right, Gintz, so look at the navigation that we've just put into it. 116 miles, what's the range?
116 miles.
No, 110. That's the distance to destination. The top right is the range, 109.
All right, cool. 109.
So now your challenge is to just see if you can drive a bit gently or carefully, whatever tactic you want to do.
I'm on Eco Plus now.
To get back in one go. Just for fun, really. Just for a challenge. Just lines up the day, doesn't it? All right, let's see how we get on. Well, I will say, Gintz, there's a few things that this car has that the Tesla doesn't. There's a few things this car has that the Tesla doesn't.
Head-up display.
Head-up display. What is wrong with this?
This is going to be great.
Why is this not grip?
It's only going to take us 5 hours. Right, okay.
Let's see if the camera doesn't drop off this time.
Makes sense.
But let me tell you, there's a few things this car does have that the Tesla doesn't.
Head-up.
Head-up display is one. Can you find me two more?
2 more keyless. Oh, keyless entry. Oh, your Porsche is keyless entry, right?
Forget about keyless entry.
Vented seats.
Vented seats, yeah.
Heat driven hazard.
You got blind spot lights in the mirrors.
Blind spot.
And in fact, it beeps with you if you're going to change. Plus this for a sunglasses holder. Something I always love to see in a car. Proper sunglasses holder.
Wireless charging, good, but only one.
Yeah, Tesla's got that. Adjustable regen paddles. Tesla doesn't have them either, does it?
No.
I quite like having that, just to sort of play with it. Sometimes you kind of coast, sometimes you increase it. That's what I found so far. This car has, the Tesla doesn't. In fact, this does have the autopilot system, I'll call it. But if you change lanes, it keeps the system running, unlike the Tesla, which would cancel it. You can go all the way up here. This is 60 Gintz. You're going to be gentle. 42% battery. You're fine. And we know we're going to stop to eat, and we can easily just plug in for a few minutes whilst we eat. But Let's have a bit of fun. Let's make a challenge out of it. You're just letting everyone overtake you though, yeah? Why is your window missing up?
I like it like that.
You like it a bit cooler in here, don't you?
Yeah, it's cool. You can just do that.
Oh, right, it'd be fine.
You don't need a heating.
It'd be fine. Look, 103 miles of range and 113 miles to go. You've got to save 10 miles somewhere. You reckon you can do it?
I think so. We could probably arrive minus 5 miles.
In cold weather, let's see. We know this car, the Kona, we've done a few videos before and they're good for 300 miles, aren't they? We've done range tests before, alongside when we've done the Teslas and stuff like that. And I think when we did the family EVs up to Braintree, we did Tesla and a Kia e-Niro and a few things, Mustang. And these are normally good for 300 miles summer range, but this is the point of this test, it's glossy cold weather, so worst case scenario. Righto, let's see how we go. You're not happy, are you, Gins? That was a bit of a long hill. How are we looking?
The Kona was crying.
It's fine. 57 miles to go. 63 miles of range.
Regen, look at that. 0.17 miles just gained in this one small section.
There we go. So what we've done actually is taken a more direct route. So straight back rather than going across down the A34 and back round again. And that saves having to charge. And it's only 2 minutes longer. So might as well do it. That's a nice scenic route down through kind of Marlborough and
This hill.
Oh, this hill's lovely. And when you increase the regen, you just coast down a hill like we are now. The Kona shows you how much you've just gained from that regen process. You've gained 0.8 of a mile down that little bit of hill there.
Yeah.
Leave at the first exit.
There we go. We're flying now. I've got loads of spare. Oh, somebody pulled out a roundabout.
Now leave the roundabout.
0.7 miles. Perfect.
Yeah, good game, isn't it?
That's I think we're gonna make it. 56 to go. 64.
We could easily just stopped and plugged in for a couple of minutes, but this is more fun.
Yeah. 2 minutes extra, whatever.
Another nutritious lunch on the road. This time a Subway. So this is
an onion. Sweet corn.
I mean, there's sweet corn on me there. So normally this is where we just top up the charge a bit whilst we're eating, but we've gone off range. We don't need to. We're making solar at work, so if we can get back in one go, plug in, charge back up off the solar, perfect. How did you eat a foot long that quickly? Made it, Gins.
We did.
What have we got left?
With spare 8% and 19 miles of range.
Ah,
Easy
plenty.
peasy lemon squeezer.
So how many miles has this car covered today?
Exactly 234 miles.
6 hours, 10 minutes of driving, averaging 4 miles per kilowatt hour. So over 6 hours of driving from this really quite good little car, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. So it's still freezing cold out here, so let's wrap this up quickly with a roundup and some costings for you as well. So we covered 234 miles in this car today, and we've got back here with 8% spare battery. So we've used 92% of the battery to do 234 miles. So I think it's a pretty good real world range test, that. On the way back, rather than the kind of long motorway route, we did a more direct route, which is more like A roads, country roads, and they are a bit more efficient because you're just going a little bit slower, but it was only a 2 minute longer route and less miles. So no charging needed for that day of over 6 hours of driving. So again, real world, nice and easy, plug it in, do the same thing all over again tomorrow. But what would that cost? Well, even if you pay the highest amount of electric on the cap tariff at the moment, 34 pence per kilowatt hour, that would have cost you £20. There we go. So I think that's a lot cheaper than petrol and diesel, even at the highest rate of electricity. And don't forget, if you've got an electric car, you might go into a cheaper overnight electricity tariff at 7 pence per kilowatt hour. So a fraction of that literally could have cost under £5. Or you may have some solar like we do now, and you may be able to use some solar to get some so-called free charging as well. What I would say about this, remember this morning when we set off, we had something like 250 miles of predicted range. Well, We've done 234, we've got 19 miles left. It means that the range prediction on this really is quite accurate, where as the Tesla is always that bit optimistic, so you've got to factor in that. I mean, normally in a Tesla I'd switch to percentage, but if you look at how many miles you've got left, the Tesla's always optimistic. This has been very real world and kind of reassuring for that. And what a good little car it's been for the day as well. The adaptive cruise control, lane assist, it's quiet and comfortable enough. So we're going to do another video where we'll do a bit more of an overall review of this car, the things we like and anything we don't like about it. So stay subscribed, and there'll be another video on that coming very soon. In the meantime, I've been quite impressed with this little car, especially in these temperatures. We know in the summer you can do a solid 300 miles in this. We've done those tests before, but that in these conditions I don't think is too bad at all. It's a good value electric car this, and really quite nice to drive as well. So that's the Hyundai Kona range tested. I hope that's been useful. I hope it's been interesting for you. Don't forget to stay subscribed for those other videos coming soon, and follow us on the social media links as well. See you on the next one. Hey everyone, thanks for watching our videos. If you like our content and want to see more, don't forget to not only subscribe, but also hit the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any new videos as they're uploaded. Plus, we're also on Instagram. Just look up R Simons or RSEV. We're on Facebook and Twitter. So lots of news, stories and things as we go on each one of those channels.